This is Vancouver, British Columbia, host city of the Canadian Cross-Country Ski Championships. It is only fitting Mother Nature serve up an unusually heavy snowfall to celebrate the occasion. This is Stanley Park, not lush and green, but lovely nonetheless. The event will be held at Cypress Provincial Park on Hollyburn Ridge, high above West Vancouver. It's one of the most picturesque facilities in Canada. And more are getting involved in the joys of cross-country skiing. CTV Sports proudly presents the Jeep Eagle Canadian Ski Nationals. This is the Cypress Bowl, Hollyburn Ridge, West Vancouver, the scene of the Jeep Eagle Cross-Country Ski Nationals. Hi everyone, I'm Ken Newens, and this is the first time that Vancouver has hosted these Canadian Cross-Country Skiing Championships. And it's going to be an exciting and unique event. My pleasure to introduce our color commentator and expert, national cross-country coach Jack Sassville. Welcome to the event, Jack, and to our show. It's going to be exciting.
Oh, I think so. We've got mass start races here this week. We'll have night races here this week. These are the first time we've ever had night races at the Canadian Championships. I feel that we can really show the public in Canada great ski racing this week.
Who's going to jump out of the pack and star?
Oh, for sure, Yves Bilodeau and Al Pilcher. They've been the leaders of our men's program over the past couple of years. And on the women's side, Angela Schmidt-Foster has made a resurgence this year, as well as Marie-Andrée Masson. She's proven over the last few years she can ski with the best in the world.
Snow conditions are superb. It's going to be a great event, and we'll be back right after this.
Let CIBC show you how to retire a millionaire.
We have over 10 RRSP options, like guaranteed rate accounts and mutual funds to help your money grow. It's so easy.
CIBC, get us working for you.
Excuse me, why did you switch from a Mazda 626 to that new high-tech Eagle 2000 GTX with anti-lock brakes?
I couldn't stop myself.
With all its smart technology, how does your new Eagle 2000 GTX make you feel?
Streetwise.
And how do you feel about its competition?
Otherwise.
What do I need? To win the lottery.
Somebody to pay my bills.
If you're looking for value, come and get it. McDonald's value is our famous Big Mac. Until January 27th, just 99 cents when you order large fries and a medium soft drink. Come on, you deserve it.
No, this bill I can handle. Yeah.
A Big Mac for just 99 cents when you buy large fries and a medium soft drink.
You can always count on McDonald's.
Always good food, always good value.
I am beaming down to find the secret of this kokanee barley hop, or as earthlings say, beer. Scanning for intelligent life.
Hey, Brew, where's that cool crisp kokanee?
No intelligence there. Wait, I have found their leader, the keeper of the kokanee. Hi, earthling. Give me that, you little... beam us up. I have the kokanee and their leader. Wait, you've forgotten me. Come
Kokanee barley hop. Glacier fresh taste from the Kootenays.
You idiots. What am I going to do now?
How to retire a millionaire.
We have over 10 RRSP options, like guaranteed rate accounts and mutual funds to help your money grow. It's so easy.
CIBC, get us working for you.
Our first event will be the exciting Women's 15K Classical. And naturally, a lot of time goes into ski preparation, and that's a very important part of ski racing.
Because it's a classical race, it means that people will be doing diagonal strides. So grip waxing and glide waxing is important. We see coaches here putting on the glide wax. Once that is done, then the grip wax takes place. After they've done this, the skiers will go out and test their skis, make sure everything's okay, maybe make a last-minute adjustment if they need to just before the start of the race.
Snow conditions, well, there's certainly lots of it. How important are these figures?
The air and snow temperature and the humidity are very important in determining the right wax.
Angela Schmidt-Foster, got to be Canada's superstar in women's cross-country underway.
Angie is one of the best. Here's Lorna Sassville, another pre-race favorite, having finished second in last year's race. Here we see Angela coming through the stadium, kick double pole. Notice how strong the poling is. Very, very strong double poling. Angela should be one of our best at the World Championships later on this year.
And our next skier is Marie-Andre Masson.
Marie is generally seen as a better skater, but in the classical races, she has also the ability to go very fast. Here we see two skiers out on the course, skiing up the hill after the end of the second lap. And here's Angie into the finish. Angela Schmidt-Foster, the winner by almost 2.5 minutes today in the 15 kilometers. Here comes Rhonda DeLong from British Columbia, followed by Lorna Sassville, and our second place skier today, Marie-Andre Masson. Very great race for Marie in classical. The girls now will try to recover, talk a little bit about the race, and watch Lucy Steele come into the finish for a bronze medal. Lucy's first medal at Canadian Championships as a senior. This is a big surprise for all of us.
A very, very special athlete. She's been named Yukon's Athlete of the Year 5 times.
Well, Lucy is just coming onto the team and should do very well.
Special day for Angela. Here's why.
Well, this is Angela's birthday. She's 31 years old today. What a great birthday present for her.
Happy birthday to you. Wants to win this race, last year's Canadian champion.
The men's 30K about to get underway, and there is Alan Pilcher.
Well, Al is our star. He was 7th place at the 50 kilometer at the World Championships in '89. Great technique, great power. Here comes Wayne Dustin. He's been on the team for many years, hasn't done much the last couple of years. He's looking to come back now.
Already on course. Exit here is the
and another skier goes out of the gate. Skiers start every 30 seconds here as we see Yves Bilodeau going out, chasing down Al Pilcher. As Al comes up this hill out of the stadium, he's the leader already into the race after 3 kilometers. Another skier, here's Yves Bilodeau now coming across through at around 10 kilometers. This course is characterized by a lot of gradual uphills, some steep uphills, and some great downhills.
That's something the general public normally think of cross-country skiing, skiing on the level, but there's, what, 5,000 meters in climbing here?
In this race, there's 1,000 meters of climb and 1,000 meters of downhill, so these skiers have to be good going up and going down. Here is Wayne. He came on in the middle of this race, moving up from in 4th place to eventually move closer to the top. Another thing that happens in these kind of races is what we call trains. Here we see Yves Bilodeau. He is caught and passed number 54, Bernard Vermette, and they are now skiing together. As Wayne Dustin skates down into the finish, as well as Al Pilcher skating down. Sometimes they reach speeds of up to 40 miles an hour on the downhills.
The skiers are really moving coming into that corner.
We've put some turns here at the bottom of the course to try to slow them down. Otherwise, they would be up to 40 miles an hour.
The brilliant Al Pilcher.
Al skied a great race today to win this event. He had great pacing all day and was well in control throughout the event.
He was ready.
Wayne Dustin coming into the finish. Wayne will finish 2nd today. It's his best result, I think, since 1984. Yves Bilodeau and Bernard Vermette finishing 3rd and 5th. They skied together most of the race. Yves gave Bernard the ride almost the whole day. As we watch Wayne Dustin come into the finish, it's interesting to note that these guys have been skiing for an hour and a half at heart rates almost at maximum. But as we watch them after the event is over, it looks like they've just been out for a walk in the park.
Kathy Sproul joins us with a very special feature on a brother-sister combination.
Since being on the national cross-country team together, brother-sister Marie-Andre and Elaine Masson have learned to appreciate their family relationship in a different way.
Well, it changed quite a bit. I remember when I was younger, well, I have an older brother, and Alain and Jean would always be together, and they wouldn't let me play with them. And then it changed when we started skiing. Then Alain and I were involved in skiing, and I think we got along better.
We probably grew closer together.
Yeah, we share more now.
Yeah, plus having the same goals and activities, we feel much closer probably.
Even though the Massons live out of a suitcase training and competing 9 months of the year, they try to make their family life on the road as normal as possible.
We try as much as possible by going for groceries and then cook our own meal. And
yeah, you try to make it as close as possible as what you would do at home, so then you don't feel homesick as much as if you would have to take all your meal outside in a restaurant. And when we can have rooms with little kitchenette or stuff like that, we always prefer that.
An 11-year veteran on the national team, 27-year-old Marie-Andre is considered one of Canada's top free technique skiers, has the best Canadian Women's World Cup finish ever with a 6th in 1985. 29-year-old Elaine is a two-time Olympian in cycling and cross-country. But in the last 2 years, both have had to overcome setbacks. Marie with 2 hairline fractures in her right thigh, Elaine with a fatigue virus.
Well, first of all, why we got injured and sick is probably we're both the same. We're hard worker, and maybe we went a little above what we could have done. So we learned from it, and now we just being smarter. It's
because when you train, you always want to train harder to improve and to be better, but you never know what your limits are until you reach them, and when you reach them, sometimes it's too late. You went above, and you can only know after. You cannot know where to stop before you reach them. So,
for Marie and Andre, their focus and drive is something they'll always have to share.
And so we'll probably remember when we both had really good results at the same time, because it's always special to us and special to the press. So I think those moments we'll always remember a little bit better.
And the weather. It's the first time there's been night skiing at a Canadian cross-country championship. That's a big enough challenge, but this is a bigger challenge, the weather, Jack.
Weather always plays a part in cross-country ski racing, but it has been snowing here now for a day or so. It's piling up higher and higher. It causes a great deal of extra work for the organizing committee and a lot of trouble for them as well.
Ready for the 10K in the starting gate, Lucy Steele of Whitehorse, and the race is underway.
As a skating race, these people will do all the skating techniques around the course. Marie-Andre Masson, very much a favorite to win this race today. Here's Jane Vincent coming down the hill. Jane had a fall during this race as she was leading the race and went on to eventually finish second. Skiers, you can see the snow falling down, hampering the skiers in their ability to go fast.
Here comes her winner, Marie-Andre Masson, and we asked Marie-Andre if visibility was a problem.
No, I didn't find it was a problem. With glasses, the snow doesn't bother your eyes, and it was really nice.
As third place finisher Lucy Steele and Lorna Sassel discussed the race, the men's race has begun, but the lights have gone out. During the race, the lights went out, and the men's race needed to be rescheduled the next day.
And over 50 centimeters of snow have fallen, and now we have a brand new race and a brand new day and brand new circumstances.
And a lot more snow. You can see them digging out the signs and digging out everything in West Vancouver. As we see Yves Bilodeau starting again the 15K race. When the race was stopped the night before, he was 1 second out of the lead behind this man, Alain Masson, who was the leader when the lights went out. The question is, can they repeat today the results that they gave the night before? Here's a person that was really saved by the lights going out. Darren DeRoche was having a terrible race. But today, he's in third position as the race goes on, and he may just get a reprieve. The person who was third the day before was the 30K winner, Al Pilcher. But Al has dropped back today when the sun is shining. I don't know if he can come back up to his medal again today. Yves, skating into the finish line, the winner of today's 15-kilometer race. And he was followed into the finish by Alain Masson, who was the second-place finisher today, who may have won the race the night before. Third place did indeed go to Darren DeRoche, who skied a great race in the snow today, and I'm sure he's very happy to have had the race restart.
The winner, Yves Bilodeau, talks about his race.
Today, I think I had pressure from Alain, who started 30 seconds behind me, so I went all out from the beginning to the end. I think I deserve this one.
And the night skiing, the extra heavy snowfall, the fog, made it a very difficult challenge for the skiers. And of course, they also had extra waxing to worry about, extra ski preparation. We had an opportunity to talk to some of the skiers who felt it was somewhat controversial.
The conditions are great. It's just the fact that it's a night race. It's a little bit away from what we normally do. It's away from what we do at World Championships. And this is a World Championship trials for us, so I think we should be following the same protocol that they use there.
I think it's going to be good conditions. It's stopped raining now, and it's going to be a lot faster than the other two races. And the track should be a lot harder, too.
Ready? And the mass start race begins. This is part of the controversy. There are no mass starts at the World Championships, but the athletes are going as hard as they can. As Angela Schmidt-Foster has already broken away from the field, we see Jean McAllister, amongst others, trying to chase her down, but I don't think anybody can catch Angela today. This is her race, and sure enough, here she comes into the finish. Angela, the winner of the 5K sprint mass start night race. She was followed today by Lorna Sasto, who, after some disappointing results, has come back for a silver medal. And here's the big surprise, Ken. Wendy Davis in third place.
She's only 20 years of age.
This is just a great big surprise for her. She had great skis, and while others did not. And the men start in the mass start race. A lot more men out there. A little bit longer 10-kilometer classic as Yves Bilodeau leads the gang out of the start for 10 kilometers around this 5-kilometer loop. Al Pilcher gets away from the group at around 3 kilometers. You can see the others chasing him in the fog and the rain.
Look at the conditions there.
It was really pouring out there tonight, and that played havoc with everybody's race. But not Al. Al looks smooth and relaxed and skiing away from the pack. Yves Bilodeau in second place, but look at this, Ken. Jack Cook, another big surprise from Ontario. And as Al skis down the finish, down to the finish and around the corner, we see him classical skiing into the finish for his second win of these Canadian Nationals. He has to be very happy with his results. But the big surprise for all of us is Jack Cook, who's gone past Yves to finish second. Look how happy he is.
And we talked to the excited young man.
I started off and I was feeling good, but I really didn't think, like when I saw Yves, I thought there must be 10 guys ahead of him. I didn't think I was going that fast. And then got to the downhills, my skis were moving really good. And I knew, I found out I was in third. I knew if I caught Yves in the uphills, there's no way he was going to stay with me on the downhills. My skis were just so fast today.
As Yves and the others finished, it's interesting to note that Ontario skiers had 7 of the top 10 finishers in this men's race.
We'll meet a skiing superstar when we return.
A new high-output 4-liter engine, anti-lock brakes, and exclusive shift-on-the-fly, full-time 4-wheel drive. Make Jeep Cherokee the ultimate vehicle for the hustle and bustle of everyday life.
The baby in this picture is going to have a very special year. A year of first steps, first words, first birthday. And none of these firsts will ever happen again. Now, if you were this baby's parents, which film would you choose? No other film in the world gives you purer, richer colors than Kodacolor Gold film. Aren't your pictures worth gold?
One Tough Motor Oil announces One Tough Guarantee. The Quaker State 400,000 kilometers or 10-year guarantee. Register your new car at a participating service center. Then use only Quaker State. Have oil and filter changed as directed at a service center. And if any lubricated engine part suffers an oil-related breakdown within 400,000 kilometers or 10 years, you're covered. Quaker State guarantees it in writing. The big Q is One Tough Motor Oil.
There are times when you simply don't need the ultimate down parka from Mark's Work Warehouse with down and feather body insulation and heavy-duty two-way zipper. And there are times when you do. There are times when you simply don't need to test the strength and durability of the ultimate down parka with 12-ounce pure cotton duck shell. And there are times when you do.
It's an off day for the competitors, and the skiers are busily preparing for the grueling women's 30K and the men's 50K race.
As we look forward to tomorrow's 30-kilometer race for women, the results indicate that Angela has a stranglehold on the women's aggregate title. She is 13 points ahead of her second-place Lorna Sassville, and that would mean in real time that she would have to lose the race by 13 minutes.
Snow conditions are excellent. And here's Kathy Sproul with a feature on our skiing superstar.
Look at how nice that is. I always wanted to come to Stanley Park, so it's worked out really well to come here. And
it's a unique relationship and a very special one. Throughout the 14 years Angela Schmidt-Foster has been racing on the national team, her husband Don has been the driving force behind her performance.
For me to have his support and his opinions on things and his input is very, very important. So he's with me even when he's not here. And now that he is here at these races, it's even way better because, you know, I don't have to carry him inside me. He's right beside me.
They own and operate a small ski area in Midland, Ontario in the winter, run a market farm in the summer. However, with Angela on the road competing 8 months of the year, Dawn runs the business back home, managing to come to only 1 or 2 races a year.
We don't spend a lot of time together because I'm on the road a lot, but when he is here, you know, the old saying, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Well, it's very true. And you do grow very close when you're away, and you appreciate each other so much more. Okay, honey, what did you get on those skis? Okay. Do you think we're going to need any big wheels or little wheels, or what do you think we're going to be doing? For him to be working on my skis, I just say, here, honey, these are the skis I want to use. Let's wax them up a certain way. We decide what we are going to put on them, and he just does them. And when I'm not tired or when I'm not resting, I'll help him out because it's just a fun pastime as well.
Angela had some of her best results ever in 1987 when she won silver and bronze at the pre-Olympic World Cup in Canmore.
That was an excellent one. It was, the circumstances leading up to that race were incredible, and to have a race like that just goes to show that I've got it and that I can even improve on that.
Last year, 31-year-old Schmidt-Foster struggled. There was a move to get her off the team because she was getting old. However, this season she has renewed her strength, mental drive, and performance. Would like to get back the Canadian title she lost last year. Now Angela's got the younger members on the team scrambling to catch her.
It takes years, and they have to build to get there. So I'm sure they'll still have to use the experienced athletes, you know, and they have to beat us in order to get better results.
Angela Schmidt-Foster is not ready to quit yet.
When you're a competitor, you always want to be the best and you always want to win, and that's a driving force right there.
We'll be back with coverage of the women's 30K race right after this.
Later on Wide World of Sports, the duet competition at the Junior Canadian Synchronized Swimming Championship.
Hello. It's Patrick. He took out life insurance. Good for you, son. At my age, it's probably too late for life insurance.
Dad, the Millers are older than you, and they've just been insured by Norwich Union.
Really? With my high blood pressure, I'm sure to be rejected. You must have to take a medical.
No, you don't. The Guaranteed Life Insurance Plan is designed especially for people over 50. Even if you were 75, you'd still be insured without a medical.
Well, it would be reassuring to leave some money. Let me take the number down. Guaranteed Life Insurance Plan from Norwich Union.
At Norwich Union, we know it's important to be insured for life, to leave money to those you love. Our Guaranteed Life Insurance Plan gives you affordable, worry-free coverage for life, with no medical exam or health questions asked. If you're between 50 and 75, you're automatically approved for coverage. It's guaranteed in your personal enrollment kit. Choose the coverage you want, up to $25,000, depending on your age. In the event of accidental death, your benefit triples, up to $75,000. Your insurance costs as little as $20 a month, and your premiums will never increase. You can name any beneficiary, your spouse, children, or someone else you care about. Just call this toll-free number for your free personal enrollment kit, which answers any questions you may have in easy-to-understand terms. And keep in mind, you're under no obligation to enroll, and no salesperson will call. If you're between 50 and 75, your acceptance is guaranteed without a medical exam or health questionnaire.
Just call 1-800-263-9899. An operator is standing by to take your call now. That's 1-800-263-9899. Ask for operator 140.
We're ready for the women's 30K race. The snow is falling again, and out on the course in the snow is my colleague, Jack Sassville.
Ken, I'm up here at around 4 kilometers on the course, at the top of the biggest uphill of the race course. The racers will come out from behind me, the men at least, and go up towards the right. They'll continue farther up the hill and then start the long descent back down to the stadium. This is about 3 kilometers of general downhill with speeds of around 40 miles an hour. These people up here, the men, will do 6 laps of this course and go through this part 6 times. The women, however, will not be going up to my right. They'll come through here to the left and just start down the hill. That's how we get the difference between a 7.5 kilometer course for the women and an 8.3 kilometer course for the men.
13 racers ready to go here in the mass start for the women's 30 kilometer. We have Jane Vincent of Dawson City, Angela Foster-Schmidt, Jean McAllister, Lucy Steele, Rhonda DeLong, Lorna Sassville of Canmore, Marie-Andre Messon, defending champion, Genevieve Newell, Wendy Davis, Anika Bergen, Kitty Hastings, Dominique Raymond, and Fiona McKenna. And there you see number 2, defending champion, Marie-Andre Messon. Number 5 is Jane Vincent of Dawson City. And the race is underway, and they're tracking extremely well. And number 3 is Jean McAllister of Canmore. And now I welcome back my colleague, Jack Sassville. Jack, you've come a long way down the course. You're in excellent condition, not puffing at all.
It's all downhill, Ken, and even though I can't get 40 miles an hour, it's pretty fast.
Good start.
Oh, a very good start. Jane now has taken the lead from Marie. We're up at the point I was at 4 kilometers. The girls are still trying to feel each other out, see who's strong where, who has the fastest skis. And we have a group of 7 that have broken away from the rest of the pack. Here comes the rest of the pack, led by number 13, Annika Berggren.
Jack, is this considered, on the worldwide scale, a tough, grueling course, or is it adequate?
Oh, I think it's more than adequate. This is a race course that is up near the very hardest in the world. I think it's a very good test for all the ladies.
I notice Marie-Andre Messon still near the top.
Well, again, this group of 7 has broken away, and Marie is trying to set the pace, hopefully to try to repeat what she's done last year. The girls are now going through a feeding station where they'll take drinks. They'll try to do this 2 or 3 times a lap in order to keep hydrated and keep their energy levels up. This is at the end of the first lap, and Marie is still the leader, followed by Jane Vincent and Jean McAllister. The group of 7 is still together.
Anybody's race.
Well, I think that judging from the look on Marie's face, she's starting to get a little tired, and sure enough, here goes Jane Vincent, going by her to take the lead. These girls will do 4 laps of this 7.5 kilometer course. There's lots of time and lots of things that can happen. Now we have Jean McAllister in the lead. Jean has taken over from Jane Vincent. 3rd place is Lucy Steele, so we have Alberta followed by the Yukon, followed by another Yukon skier.
You can understand as you watch these skiers perform why cross-country skiing is considered the most grueling sport in the world.
Well, this race will take these girls about an hour and a half. And look, off that group of 7, 2 people have fallen off the back, including our defending champion, Marie-Andre Messon. So now we're down to a group of 5. And Jane Vincent seems to be the one that's spreading things out. You can see here, she's got about 20 yards on the 2nd place, pushing hard up the big uphill at around 3 kilometers on the race course. This is in the 3rd or 4th lap.
Pardon me, Jack. Jane Vincent from Dawson City in the Yukon. And there is a familiar figure, number 1, Angela Foster.
Yeah, Angela is presently in 2nd or 3rd position. We can see Jane way at the top. And down at the bottom, here comes Marie-Andre Messon. She looks to be struggling now.
Did she go out too fast?
Perhaps. Maybe her skis are slow. Maybe she's just tired from earlier races. Jane coming through the top part of the course. It's relatively flat here. She has the lead. I don't see very many people behind her. As Jane now comes down into the stadium at the end of the 3rd lap with about a 20-second lead on the field.
The fog and the rain doesn't seem to be deterring the skiers at all, actually.
No, I think that they can skiers, as long as they can see 20 or 30 yards in front of them, everything's okay. Ken, we've had a report that both Jane Vincent and Angela Schmidt-Foster have gone into the finish lane instead of through the lap lane. And as a result, now Lucy Steele, who was in third, is now leading the race.
Great for Lucy.
Not so good for Jane or Angela. Here are some of the slower skiers in the race coming through at the end of the third lap. This is Kitty Hastings. Rhonda DeLong, presently in 5th place, coming down through after the end of third lap. And Lorna and Marie-Andre are still together, but they have now fallen a minute and a half off of the pace after 3 laps.
Marie-Andre now is really struggling physically.
They both are. Another one of the back markers coming through the stadium at the end of the third lap, and here comes Jane. Jane has regained the lead that she lost after the third lap. She's now up at the top of the course with about 3 kilometers to go, and she is 12 seconds in the lead at this time. Angie hot on her tails, followed by Lucy Steele and Jean McAllister. And there Jane comes through again. Angela and Jean right behind her in 2nd and 3rd, and Lucy Steele hanging on to 4th.
You certainly can never count Angela Schmidt-Foster out.
No, you sure can't. As Angela comes down into the finish line, I don't think she has enough time to catch Jane. As Jane comes one skating into the finish line, it's too little too late for Angela. With 30 yards behind and 20 yards to go, it's Jane Vincent, the winner of the women's 30-kilometer race.
That's remarkable to ski that far and finish that close.
Not only was it close for Angela with Jane, but Jean McAllister and Lucy Steele were right on Angela's tails for 3rd and 4th.
And here's our new 30K champion from Whitehorse, Jane Vincent.
I didn't know that Angela was catching up that much to me, so I was really shocked at the last downhill where my coach said you only have 4 seconds and Angela's right behind you. I think she must have really done well on that last downhill section, because at the top of the uphill I had 15 on her. Anyway, it was a close race. It was good.
Finishing now in 7th place, defending champion Marie-Andre Masson.
So your final standings include the new champion, first time ever winning the 30K, Jane Vincent. Angela Schmidt-Foster in 2nd. Jean McAllister finishes 3rd. Lucy Steele 4th. And Rhonda DeLong finishes in 5th position. And we'll be back with a look at the field of men for the 50-kilometer race right after this message.
Don't wait. Get your CIBC Retire a Millionaire RRSP.
We make it easy to get your RRSP with payment options like a personal line of credit or our prime rate loan.
CIBC, get us working for you.
You know, $10,000 used to buy a really good vehicle, but not anymore, right? Wrong. You see, together your Ford and Mercury dealers are offering this Ranger and Festiva, this Escort, even this Topaz and Tempo, complete with air and automatic, all for under $10,000 each. So stretch your dollar further at your Ford and Mercury dealers. But hurry, quantities are limited.
Don't wait. Get your CIBC Retire a Millionaire RRSP.
We make it easy to get your RRSP with payment options like a personal line of credit or our prime rate loan.
CIBC, get us working for you.
When it's going in a hurry, you're running out of time. Trust it all to Greyhound. We're moving all the time. Count on us for service across the west. You know it's gonna get there with Greyhound Courier Express. Day and night you're covered all down the line. At Greyhound Courier Express, we're moving all the time. We're moving all the time. We're moving all the time.
For all the driving hazards winter may throw your way, we introduce the new full-time four-wheel drive Subaru Legacy. Because you can't control the conditions you drive in, we make sure you can control the car. The Subaru Legacy is renowned for its legendary full-time four-wheel drive. So when the weather goes to the dogs, your Subaru comes to the rescue.
And getting ready for the men's 50K final. What a race it'll be.
Ken, I think we're really down to a 2-horse race. Yves Bilodeau and Al Pilcher have traded wins back and forth this week, and going into today's race, Yves must beat Al by 1 minute and 9 seconds in order to take the overall aggregate title. At the other side, Al has to keep Yves behind him in order to be the winner today.
No question that Bilodeau, great competitor, he wants some vengeance because Al Pilcher has really dominated the first two events. And we talked to Marty Hall about Al Pilcher because, after all, Al won the 10K and also won the 30K.
We're real happy with Al. He had a real bummer year last year. Knew what he wanted to do this year and stayed home rather than going on the World Cup circuit, and it looks like it's paying off big dividends.
When Al Pilcher tried cross-country skiing in his hometown of Orangeville, Ontario at 15 years of age, it was not planned.
I got into sports, I guess, accidentally in grade 9. I used to be a runner, and then I went up for the basketball team, and my running coach got me cut. So I had to, get points to get my letter in grade 10, so skiing was the next sport to take. And I took it, and I guess the first year I really didn't enjoy it at all. And then down there, I came second last and fourth last. My competitors who are still here, those guys are kind of winning. So I've definitely come up, right from the bottom and climbed the ladder, slowly.
It was those disastrous early career results that have given 26-year-old Al the determination and drive to succeed.
Even back then when I was so far behind, I said, hey, I can beat these guys. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not the next day, but I can beat them. And it's the same feeling I have right now, at least among the world.
Pilcher uses biathlons in running and cycling as cross-training for the skiing. Throughout his 11 years on the national team, Al has slowly earned his way to the top. He produced Canada's best men's World Cup result with a 7th last year, is defending his national title. But Pilcher's successes have not come easy.
I guess if I wake up one morning and say, hey, I've done my best, then I'll adjust my goals and see what's happening, and I'll probably move on. But, I feel I'm not even close to that right now.
This year, Pilcher has revised his program after overtraining last season. It's a new focus that's working.
I look at it as a big piece of pie, racing. If you're missing one piece, you're not going to make it. And that pie is just so big. It's how to handle the press, how to handle the pressure, how to live, how to eat, how to travel, how to race, how to train. It's almost endless. And if you're missing a couple of those pieces, you're not going to be the best in the world.
Al Pilcher believes in his potential. This year at the World Championships at Val d'Isère, Italy, leading up to the 1992 Winter Olympics at Albertville, France. His 5-year plan consists of patience, training, and peaking at the right time.
I think what drives me the most is my self-motivation. Like the ability to do my best. I think it's a kind of a poor expression to do your best, but like when I finish a race and when I'm done, I think about it and say, did I do my best? And if I said yes, that's great. And that's my ultimate goal.
No one could ever doubt that Al Pilcher would do anything but his best.
Ready, go!
Ken, here we go. Another mass start race for the men. 50 kilometers, 6 laps around this course today.
Jack, why do they use the mass start if they don't use it in the World Championships?
Well, for us here in Canada, most of us are used to seeing car races and horse races where everybody starts together and the first person across the line is the winner. We want to try to make this sport more accessible to the average person so that they understand the sport a little bit better. Here we are at the start. The boys are not going too hard right now. It's a lot of red and white suits at the front. They're setting the pace for 2 and maybe 2.5 hours of all-out skiing. This is Stéphane Barrette, one of the skiers on Team 94, leading out the pace. You can see that it's relatively sedate by the standards of these racers, but if you ever tried to follow them, you'd see just how fast they're actually going.
40 competitors in the field.
Still on the first lap now, we have Al, followed by Alain Masson. Still a whole bunch of red and white Canadian suits at the top. There goes Jack Cook, a surprise third-place finisher, or second-place finisher, actually, in the previous race. But nobody has really gotten away yet. They're still skiing as a group. A little bit after 5 kilometer here for the men. They're up on the plateau. And the race still has not sorted itself out. I don't think that's going to happen for a little while yet, even though we started to drop off some of the division skiers. This race course is, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of long uphills and some fast downhills. They're coming back again, and they're still as a group.
And there's still fog.
It seems like there's been fog all week here in Vancouver. It doesn't seem to affect the racers all that much, although it is very wet, and we may have some danger of hypothermia at the end of this race.
Packed together very closely still.
Yes, you can see the men now going through a feeding station. They'll take liquids as the women did earlier in order to help them finish strongly throughout the whole 50 kilometers.
Jack, as a national coach, you've got to feel good about those red and white suits up near the start of the pack.
Well, those guys are on the national team because they deserve it, and over the past few years they have been the best skiers in Canada. Yves Bilodeau leading, going out again now after 8.3 kilometers. Al Pilcher right beside him. Danny Bouchard just a little bit behind with Alain Masson, Benoit Letourneau, and Stéphane Barrette.
Somebody is bound to make a move pretty soon.
Well, it's going to happen soon if anybody's going to do it, but the tactics are so important in this race. If you go too soon, you could die, and people like Al Pilcher have a history of trying to go for the win, and they've also died in the past. It'll be interesting to see if he can actually do it. And Al has gone now, Ken. He's gotten away. You can see the pack in the background. It looks like he has about a 15, 20-second lead. In second place is Darren DeRoche, followed by Stéphane Barrette and Alain Masson in third and fourth.
I expected that Bilodeau would push harder off the top. He doesn't want to let Pilcher get too far away.
No, he doesn't, and he better be careful, because if Al does get away and he doesn't die, Yves will have to be content with second place. Some of the slower division skiers, including a national team skier, Benoit Letourneau, this is a tough race. You have to be able to pace. And now Darren DeRoche has caught Al. The other group coming down behind them on this fast downhill near 5 kilometers. And into the stadium after 2 laps. Al Pilcher and Darren DeRoche still together, going through past the stadium, and Yves has caught up. Yves has brought the boys back on, and it looks like we have the race with the skiers together once again. On the third lap, we watch the skiers come up. This is what's called offset technique. As these guys come up the hill, this is a technique that's similar to diagonal stride in classical skiing. And you can see some of the hills that this course entails. The men will go up this hill amongst many others 6 times over the course of this race.
Well, they're climbing now.
And you can see once again that Al has gone over the top of the hill, but Yves is leading the boys, trying to catch him. Donald Farley, one of the Team 94 skiers, doesn't look like he's having a great race today. He probably has slow skis.
Around that corner, there was Lars Taylor, great BC prospect.
And Jack Cook again in that group. And at the end of 2 laps, Al Pilcher is away again, and Yves Bilodeau is on his tail, followed by the pack again. A whole bunch of red suits except for Jack Cook.
And Marty Hall, what stands out about this year's championship as far as you're concerned?
Take a young fellow like Jack Cook. He's been there for the last 2 or 3 years, just off the back end of our team. Made a nice little move this fall, initiated himself, came to our international camp on his own, and it looks like it's paying big dividends for him now. He's made it to Europe, and I think I hope he sets new goals for himself, but I'm sure that was his big goal for this year. Yeah, we like that.
Up at the top of the course, Al has made another move. He is now almost a minute ahead of the group. Darren DeRoche is trying to catch him, trying to stay in contact. I wonder if he can do it. Yves has also tried to get away, but the group is following Yves. Now we have a race, Ken.
Jack, is Al Pilcher able to take this lead because he's better prepared, better waxed? Why?
All of the above, Ken. Al, as we know, was 7th in this race at the World Championships 2 years ago. He has the fitness, he has the skis, and he has the ability. The big question is, can he hold on? At the end of 45 or 50 kilometers, there's not much energy left in the body, and that's the big question.
I'm impressed by what appears to be confidence. He appears to be a confident athlete.
Al is very confident that his training program that he has rediscovered from 2 years ago will work for him, and he goes into races knowing that he can beat anybody in this field. Yes. So the chase is still on. Al coming down and around a corner. You know, Ken, they make it look so easy coming around those corners, but they are moving, and those are very narrow skis.
That's right, and they're, as you say, moving. They're climbing. There's a challenge in every meter, a new challenge, a special challenge.
One of the challenges is to ski with 6 or 7 people before you and behind you and trying to stay in contact with the leaders. Eve now going through a feed station. He's not taking a drink. And here's Lars Taylor, Ken. A real surprise, a young skier to look for.
Absolutely. BC are very proud of him, and they certainly should be. He's a talented young man.
And he's also one of the best sprinters we have on the team. It'll be interesting to see what happens at the finish of the race. Darren DeRoche, who chased Al earlier, looks like he's been swallowed up by the pack and is struggling a little bit. Al coming down into the stadium here, still has a lead. It's now been built up to about 1.5 minutes as we watch one of the slower skiers who will be passed by Al here, lapped after 4 laps. Yves Bilodeau now, hot in pursuit. He has dropped the rest of the pack. He is trying to make up the difference between himself and Al. This is Wayne Dustin, who was second in the 30K earlier in the week, and obviously by the way that Wayne is skiing, it's a struggle today. Danny Bouchard, Bernard Vermette, Jack Cook, and up to Lars Taylor. This is 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th at this point of the race. Going into the last lap now, Yves Bilodeau is in 2nd place. He's 1 minute and 25 behind Al Pilcher. Lars Taylor, 3rd place now, 2 minutes off the lead of Al Pilcher. Now the question comes, can Al hold on with 8 kilometers left to go?
1, 2, oh!
And we hear a coach giving Al a split at the top of the course. He's now 1 minute and 20 seconds ahead, so he's been able to hold his lead, Ken.
That's amazing. You would think that he'd be conserving his energy a little more, thinking, I've got to save something for the finish, and maybe he is.
I think that Al is just about given everything he can, but the question is does anybody else have any more energy than Al does? And it doesn't look like it can. Here is Al coming into the finish line. No one else in sight. Oh, here comes Yves now, coming down through the chicane into the finish line, but it's not going to be enough. Al Pilcher will hold on to win the 50-kilometer to go along with his 10 and 30-kilometer win and be the overall aggregate champion in the Jeep Eagle Ski Nationals.
What a brilliant, brilliant championship. What a brilliant skier.
2nd place looks like and will belong to Yves Bilodeau.
He looks like he'd ski another 50K.
Well, I'm not certain another 50, but I think he can go on. Here's Yves coming into the finish line. He will finish 2nd overall. He tried, but it just wasn't quite enough to catch Al in the last part of the race. Bernard Vermette, didn't talk much about him, but he hung on and came in for 3rd place. A big surprise for Bernard. I'm sure he's very happy to have won a medal in this race. But now, look at this sprint. Jack Cook and Lars Taylor, what a sprint. It looks like Jack hung on, and look how tired these guys are.
And those are 2 of the young skiers that Marty Hall was talking about, and they have given it everything.
2.25 hours of skiing to have to come into a sprint in the last 200 meters. You can see the pain and agony in Lars. That is some kind of race for these guys.
You'd wonder why he'd ever want to ski again.
Well, they'll be out skiing probably tomorrow, Ken.
There's our champion.
Here is Darren DeRoche. He gave a valiant effort during the middle of the race, but he has faded off to finish 8th in today's race. Darren just didn't have the energy at the end. Maybe he went too soon, Ken. Finishing in 9th place, Stéphane Barrette from Montreal. A reasonably good finish for Stéphane, but I'm sure that he's not as happy as he could be.
And there's your final standing. Al Pilcher wins his 3rd championship of this championship. Yves Bilodeau, Bernard Vermette, and the young skiers, Jack Cook in 4th and Lars Taylor in 5th position.
This is Bernard Vermette, the 3rd place finisher in today's races, and Yves Bilodeau in 2nd.
We'll be back to wrap up the show right after this.
A new high-output 4-liter engine. Anti-lock brakes. And exclusive shift-on-the-fly, full-time 4-wheel drive. Make Jeep Cherokee the ultimate vehicle. For the hustle and bustle of everyday life.
I am beaming down to find the secret
secret of this kokanee barley hop, or as earthlings say, fear. Scanning for intelligent life.
Hey, Brew, where's that cool, crisp kokanee?
No intelligence there. Wait, I have found their leader, the keeper of the kokanee. Hi, earthling. Give me that cute little... beam us up. I have the kokanee and their leader. Wait, you've forgotten me. Come back.
Kokanee barley hop. Glacier fresh taste from the Kootenays.
You idiots. What am I going to do now?
I can't believe it. RSP time is almost here. What have I done? I always sink a big chunk of money into it, but, you know, I never really think about what I'm getting. In fact, usually I just grab the first thing they throw at me. Every year, I scramble to buy an RRSP. There's got to be a better way.
You know, $10,000 used to buy a really good vehicle, but not anymore, right? Wrong. You see, together your Ford and Mercury dealers are offering this Ranger and Festiva, this Escort, even this Topaz and Tempo, complete with air and automatic, all for under $10,000 each. So stretch your dollar further at your Ford and Mercury dealers. But hurry, quantities are limited.
And our men's champion, our 50K winner, Al Pilcher, it's been a great week for you. Today's race, when did you decide to pull away from the pack?
Well, I think it was about the second lap that I started to take the lead. I was feeling good, made a little break. Then I think coming around the third lap, I felt that if they didn't catch me by the time on the downhill, that, you know, the race was almost going to be mine.
And Eve said you definitely won it on the climb.
Oh, definitely. I was feeling pretty good. I was feeling strong. You know, like when you're in the pack on the downhills, like with the other group, it's, you know, faster to catch up. So I was a little concerned because there's a long downhill, so there's a lot of speed that they can get. So, you know, I knew I had to make my move on the uphills and, you know, push quite hard.
Internationally, though, you have to lift it to another level.
Oh, yeah, there's, you know, I'd be way back in the World Cup on this day. But that was fine. I asked my coach before the race, you know, should I really pound or should I, you know, if I'm in the position, should I kind of ease off? And again, you know, we eased off a bit to, you know, really prepare for the World Championships. A 50K can take a lot out of you if you really pound.
But psychologically, this week has got to mean a lot to you.
Oh, yes, you know, there's no doubt. You know, it's always nice to win, especially against my competitors. You know, Yves Bilodeau, even the last lap, I was still concerned. You know, I was easing off the pace a bit, but I still had to, you know, still watching around.
You couldn't make any mistakes coming home.
Couldn't make any mistakes, no.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Terrific champion. Okay, now let's go to the women's champions, and here's Jack.
Thanks, Ken. Here with me now are the winner of today's 30-kilometer race, Jane Vincent, and the overall aggregate winner, Angela Schmidt-Foster. Jane, this is your first 30K championships, actually your first medal. Tell us about the race you had today.
During the first lap, I took the lead in several places, and we exchanged lead back and forth. On the third lap, I had the lead pretty much for the whole lap, and then I just made my tour around the stadium here, and Angela, who was about 10 seconds behind me, yelled up to me, "Jane, it's the finish!" So I turned around, came down the hill, and started skiing into the finish, even though I knew that actually there was one more lap. Then Lucy Steele, who was at that point in third place, came up the hill, and then I realized I did make a mistake, so I turned around. At that point, I was 10 seconds behind Lucy, so I had some time to make up, which I did, so I'm pleased.
Angela, this is many years that you've won the overall title. You had it taken away last year. How do you feel about it?
I feel really good. I'm pleased to have the overall title again. That was my goal.
So where do we go from here? Both you girls are going to the World Championships. Any predictions, Ange? How are you going to do?
Well, I'm very determined to be in the top 10, and I'm going to do everything to make it happen. So I'm excited about going over to Europe. I'm very glad we're going, and I'm glad Janie's coming, and I'm glad for all the people that made it on the 18th. So that's good.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Angela. Ken?
Members of Canada's team for the World Championship in Val di Diem, Italy. The men Al Pilcher, Yves Bilodeau, Danny Bouchard, Alain Masson, Bernard Vermette. The women's team, Angela Schmidt-Foster, Marie-Andre Masson, Lucy Steele, Jane Vincent, and Jean McAllister. Vancouverites, Jack, are calling this a miss, but I think it's really a bit of a downpour. As you evaluate these championships, what are the highlights?
Well, the highlights for me, are the weather. We've had everything this week. We've had snow, we've had rain, we've had wind, we've had everything except the sun. That's definitely a highlight. But for me, the highlight is the reemergence of Angela Schmidt-Foster, the ability of Al Pilcher to hang in there today and keep everybody away from him in this last race, and also the emergence of some of the younger skiers. Jane Vincent, Lucy Steele have come on, Lars Taylor. I think it's a good future for Canada in cross-country skiing.
And Mr. Cook had a good race, too.
Oh, there's another one. He just killed everybody in the last 2 races, and he's a big surprise.
And you know, despite all those weather elements, our volunteers and the committee here were very special and must deserve a lot of credit.
Well, you know, it's hard to run a national championships even in the best of weather, and this week they've had the worst of weather, and they've just done a terrific job.
Even a power failure.
And even a power failure when the lights went out on the guys.
Jack, you've done a good job. Great working with you.
Thank you, Ken.
Coming up next on Wide World of Sports, the duet competition at the Junior Canadian Synchronized Swimming Championship.